The biggest threat to bees essentially is humans. Bees have been around for literally millions of years, they now know. So we are the biggest threat to them, and we have to learn to look after them a bit better.
G'day guys, Michael here from the Roo Keepers Mobile Zoo, and today we're here with Matt and Vanessa from Rooftop Honey, and this is my old man as well. He's just embarrassing me today, so he's come along as well. But we've got some hives behind us here which we're going to check out. We're actually in Melbourne CBD at the Emporium, so let's go and have a look. Alright, so we're just going to open up this hive here and check out what's inside there. We are going to see hopefully some brood and some honey, fingers crossed. So Matt's just popping some smoke in the entrance there to calm them down. Smoke blocks the pheromones so they can't sort of communicate with each other and say they're going to kill us. So
We'll let that dissipate through the hive a little bit. We'll smoke it down. And we just run these extra external lids. There's a bit of shading. So first frame out, we can kind of see what's going on. That's just nectar. And they're still drawing that comb out, putting nectar in the middle. They've all got their heads in there eating it up. That's because of the smoke that we've introduced into the hive. So they're going about their fire drills and eating up honey in case they need to leave because of a fire.
All right, so we'll close this hive up and we'll go and have a look at another one, see if we can see any honey.
Oh, so this feels overly full. This feels like, we've got honey all in the lid. This is a good thing, but it's something we don't want in the hive. This is us getting here too late. So typically what we find in Melbourne is a eucalypt will have flowered and will have put on so much nectar so quickly that the bees have beaten us to storing it. It's our responsibility as beekeeper to add enough space for them to not have to create this extra comb to try and store it.
So how many hives do you keep in Melbourne, like on rooftops?
In the actual grid itself, we've got about 30 hives throughout the CBD grid. And then around the fringe and other suburbs, we've got after that about another 100 or so hives. So about 135 in total at the minute that we look after.
And what made you start Rooftop Honey? The idea of bringing bees into a urban or city environment?
So we had bees in our backyard in a suburban block. There's a limit of how many you can have depending on your land size. We'd reached that limit. We were looking for places we could have more hives, or how we could have more hives, and we thought about connecting people with their pollinators and their food. And reading whatever research we could see going on, and we learned about what was going on in the States and in Europe with colony collapse disorder and other issues, and thought this is an excellent platform to connect people with their food and pollinators, as well as just education in general.
I love the taste of your honey in the 3000 postcode. I think it tastes a little bit like coffee to me. Like maybe it's just me, but like everywhere you go, like different areas or different postcodes have different flavours.
Absolutely,
your product, you sort of label it that way as well, don't you?
So that's how we do ours, a little bit different. Rather than saying this is red gum or yellow box or blue gum honey, we define ours via the location. So this would be Lonsdale Street, as where Burke Street just down the road tastes completely different. And we're only talking a couple of 100 metres between the two. So it's fascinating how different it can be.
And I grew up with supermarket honey, and it all just blended to taste the same. and then you go out and you taste this stuff which is straight from the hive, and it's just like nothing else.
So there's definitely, that's a harvestable frame right there. biggest threat to bees essentially is humans. Bees have been around for literally now millions of years, they now know. So we are the biggest threat to them, and we have to learn to look after them a bit better. The biggest threat we see in an urban setting is pesticides. People have become really, really used to using sprays in their gardens that make gardening easier, that I only want fruit trees, I don't want weeds underneath it, all those kinds of things. I don't want moths eating my cabbages and things like that. It's not good for any of us, humans as well. Like us eating those chemicals that we spray on our food is awful, but the bees really suffer badly for it. These are the guys who are going around pollinating the food that we eat. One of the other threats, again humans, is us taking away their habitat. So us putting hives out is part of our way of bringing bees back into the city. Bees would naturally have been here, not these ones in particular, these are European honeybees, but they would have been around the city. And as suburbia has expanded and population has grown and the cities get bigger, all of those peri-urban farms get pushed further and further out, and our food starts coming from further and further away. And as a result, we're also pushing away the natural habitat of the bees. They would traditionally live in hollows of trees and just hang around doing a wonderful free pollination service for us. And as we're changing it to a concrete jungle, these guys don't have a home. So it's projects like this where we bring them back into the city and give them a home and look after them.
Definitely, and the food miles are pretty short as you go from the roof straight down into the restaurant. So
well, that's it. Here's
you don't have to
exactly
fly
one of those.
halfway around the world to get it.
We're pretty lucky in the city, mainly because there's always nectar and pollen for the bees to go and forage on. So there's a lot of diversity. I think some of the challenges when you're keeping bees in a rural environment is if they're more reliant on natives, you do really need to be equipped with understanding what's happening in your environment. A lot of people think that perhaps, you know, if I plant one little tree, what difference is that going to make? But all of those little trees make up a lot.
If every person in Australia did that, we'd have less of a problem in them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we've just come back from the Melbourne City rooftop tour, and these are some of the hives here which we talked about in the last episode. One of them was One Eye Split, and we brought them into Ballarat because they're not doing all that good at our place. Regional Victoria can be quite hard to keep bees, so brought them into a residential area. We'll see how they go. I haven't looked at them for about 20 days now, but we do have some spare boxes behind us which we're going to try and change them into. They're in a thing called a nucleus hive at the moment, which is quite a small hive, so hopefully we can pop them in a bigger one. Let's go check them out. And you're going to open your first hive today. So exciting. Through the garden. We look like we're going to space. All right, we'll just see how they're going. Pull this out. But the conditions in Mount Edgerton aren't really that great for keeping bees. So what we'd probably have to do with these ones is come back and feed them. Not that I like to feed them, but I think they really need a feed. Take this off. Looks like it's doing it a tiny bit better, but once again, probably not enough bees in there for another box. They've all got their heads in there, having a feed. There is a tiny bit of nectar in there, but as you can see, they're all actually eating it. So we can see great sign in there. You can see all of those larvae forming in there, which means there is a queen in here. So we do have to make sure we can get them strong enough so they can winter, which means we don't really open the hives in the winter. 6 months of the year, you generally leave them alone. It's just too cold to open hives. You don't want to disturb them. You see there, that brood pattern's a little bit better. You can see it's fairly solid through there. And you can see little bits of pollen on some of the bees, the little pollen sac. There's one there. Urban beekeeping is so much more successful than rural, unless you're moving your bees around for different flows. So when plants flower, you move your hives to go to the flow. Charlie, do you want to come around here and help? Do you want to come and hold this? Do you want to hold that for a sec?
Yeah.
On the sides. See, got it? Look at that. What do you got?
Bees.
Bees? How many bees have you got?
1, 2, 3.
3?
Yeah.
3 or 300?
100, I think.
300.
Yeah.
Awesome. And can you see these little things here?
Yeah.
All of that?
Yeah.
That's called brood.
Brood.
So the little baby bees will hatch out of there.
A seed? As hard as just hold.
You want to have another hold? Here we go. That's it. Good job. Good work. Look at that. I don't know many 2-year-olds that will hold a frame of bees. You're doing a great job. You can see the queen. She's got the really long abdomen. Usually a little bit easier to spot than this, but these are really dark. And she can lay anywhere up to about 2,000 eggs at the peak of the season. 2,000 babies a day, Zal. Would you like 2,000 brothers and sisters every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Oh, isn't that cute? Did you have fun today?
Yeah.
Yeah, high five. Not the best hives in the world, but you did a good job. All right, so we just finished out here at the bee yard. These hives here are the ones we bought from Mount Edgerton into Ballarat, and they're still not doing the best. I mean, there are stores in there now. We've got a little bit of nectar and a little bit of pollen, but it will be a long way before they do bounce back and they're ready for winter. So hopefully they will bounce back, but I will have to bring some sugar syrup out and feed them in the next day or so. But so did you have fun today, Zali?
Yeah.
Yeah, opening some hives, and she's never opened a hive before. This is her first time, so you got to hold a frame, didn't you?
Yeah.
A frame of bees, and how many bees were there? You tell Tim. 4 bees. There you go. So hopefully we've got a little beekeeper here. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video and had as much fun as I did today. Make sure if you did like the video today, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more. Thanks, until next time.